What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am Rob Bifo, and today we are going to do another Hot Toys unboxing and review. And this is a special day in my case because this figure here, as you can see, and some of you, I know if you have been watching the streams, and especially this one this past Friday, I did a figure preview for the Han Solo version of Darth Maul, that DX17 figure, because I do have that one, and I said that I was either going to do that or the Commander Cody review today. But this guy ended up coming in the mail a little bit sooner than expected, and I just could not resist, and I wanted to get this review done and out of the way so that I could get him posed up on the shelf. Just this figure was the one that got away from me ever since it was released. You'll hear this later on in the video, I'm sure, but I literally held this one in my hand and decided to pass on it, and not a day has gone by. Up until now, because I actually have it. But not a day has gone by that I did not regret not buying the fig. Like, every day, I always thought about it, every single day. This and one other one, which I also have coming soon. I'll keep that one a surprise for now. But yes, so as you can see, this one does have your typical, black and gray Star Wars box. That is just an outer sleeve, and then it has an inner art box, which is very similar to the Solo box. There are some minor differences, but we'll go over that just here in a little bit. But yes, guys, this is a DX17 Darth Maul Sideshow Special Edition that comes with a little bonus hologram. I believe that's the only difference between this version and the Sideshow exclusive version is that little hologram. Other than that, this is the one with the speeder, so we'll take a look at the speeder. We'll break everything down. But without further ado, guys, let's get into this. Let's get this box open. This guy has a ton, just literally a metric ton of accessories. Most accessories I've ever seen in a Hot Toys figure itself. It's incredible. So stay tuned, guys. And then at the end of the video, we're gonna have some poses, then just like an overview of everything. And then, yeah, just stay tuned for all that. And then let's get on with the unboxing. All right, guys, so let's first take a look at the box here before we get into the unboxing itself and take a look at everything inside. Sideshow really, or Hot Toys rather, must really like Darth Maul because they give him the absolute coolest boxes. At least out of any of the ones that I currently have, they definitely seem to put a lot of effort into these Maul boxes. So at first, this outer part is actually just a sleeve that will just slide straight up. I'm gonna apologize right off the top here as well, because I am currently working on an end table as opposed to my desk that is I had to take in the house. So I have a bit of a smaller workspace, and this is quite a large box. So I'm gonna try to do the best I can with this little surface area to kind of encompass everything that you see. So this actually opens up on the side here, as opposed to the Solo Darth Maul that actually is essentially just a horizontal sleeve. So for this one, it actually opens up like a book on the side here, and then it completely folds out. So then you have all this fancy artwork here around the inside here, and there's like Zabrak tattoo panels, that's what it looks like all through here on the background. Like kind of like you can see it right here. That's around the whole thing. Then it says Darth Maul right here on this sleeve, and it reads, "A deadly, agile Sith Lord trained by the evil Darth Sidious. Darth Maul was a formidable warrior and a scheming mastermind. He wielded an intimidating double-bladed lightsaber and fought with a menacing ferocity." So that's what you have there on this panel here. This does fully open again to another little side piece here. So it extends all the way out like that. Again, I apologize. Once I can bring my desk back out here, this wouldn't have been as difficult to do. This little end table is very small. But then from there, you have, I haven't taken this out yet. So this is what looks like a COA. So you have this, and this sleeve just pops out with its own foam here that went right over the top. And then again, kind of unlike the Solo Maul, this on the Solo Maul had its inserts like on the sides here, like around right here on both sides. So it actually stuck in there. This one's just like a little piece of paper that just flops off. But once you open it, if it's flat, you're greeted with this nice, you know, cutout impression of just Maul himself. So that's really cool when you first open it up. Then that just slides off. And then you have Maul there himself. And more similarly to the Solo one, you have this little guard here on him as well. His second head sculpt there. And you see his robe right there. So this is just a COA, it looks like. Because mine is completely taped down still. So I managed to find this new. This is essentially a grail piece to me. So I'm very happy, very, very happy to see this in my possession right now. I was going to say, just because this is super big, let me get everything flattened out and taken out of the box. But we'll go ahead and give a quick overview here of just kind of what you can see from this angle. So there you have his robe packaged there. Second head sculpt. Then Maul here would pop out of this panel, to which then you will see all of the accessories with the speeder bike down behind. And now at this point, I will go ahead and get everything unpackaged out of the box because, as I said, this is a very small little table here, so it's kind of a hard setup to lay it flat with this extra mass we have here. So let me get everything out and we'll take a look at everything once I have everything unpackaged. All right, guys, so here is all the accessories laid out, but despite this looking like a ton of things, there is actually still more that I can't even fit all on the screen here. And I even had to take the liberty of assembling the probe droid here. So I'll go over how easily that assembles here in a moment. Let's take a quick look at Maul himself before then I can show you the stand and then the speeder bike that he comes with and everything as well. So here we have him out of the box, and as you can see, I'll tell you what, like, this doesn't do him any justice. Like, this, I'm sure it looks great right now, but seeing this thing in person is kind of a whole other level. Like, I don't know, as soon as I pulled this thing out of the box, I was just massively impressed. The likeness is incredible. I love the fact that with these figures, at least with this one and the other Maul and some other DX series figures, they have the magnetic head, so it just makes switch outs a breeze. And despite that, he actually does have like a pretty solid amount of mobility. You can get him pretty much looking all the way up like that, which is pretty substantial. You don't have a ton of lower mobility, like you're pretty much locked in right there, and then it kind of comes dislodged a bit. You can go like down to there, but I mean, because of the magnet and the connection, you have full 360 ability, so you got that going. The material here is just like a cloth material, feels really nice. This has like a pattern to it. I'm not sure if it's coming through very well. It's just like some seams that just run straight down. It's very, very screen accurate from what I can remember here. On his belt, you have a CoverTech wheel here to clip your lightsaber hilt to it. You get, because of these clothes being cloth, you get like a very good amount of mobility on his shoulder portion in general. You got a butterfly joint up here, so you get a good amount of swivel here, front and back. You can definitely get him into some dynamic poses. On the back side, the belt here, which is it's like a leathery kind of pleather material, but it looks good all the way through. You have some little buttons here for like decoration, just to give it some pop. Because I mean, this is, as far as colors go and everything, obviously, I mean, this is just an all black piece for the most part. Like the only color you really have is in some of the accessories, but I mean, that's primarily a silver. And then so you're really only with the red and then the yellow in the eyes, and then you're pretty much, that's all you get with for any sort of like color with this piece. But that's how Darth Maul is. So, but I am incredibly pleased with the head sculpt, everything. I mean, I'm not sure if you can see in here, but this is one that you can, down inside there, you can see that little white portion there. There's two of those. That's what you would use to move the eyes into whatever direction you would like. And they give you the little tool to do that right here. You just wedge that up in there and move it in the direction that you would like it to go, and that will change his eyes. We can take a look at the more aggressive head sculpt here, which again, the likeness is incredible. I really like this one too. That's why I was a little disappointed with the solo one that we only got one head sculpt, given that we got two head sculpts on this one. But I haven't tried it out for sure yet, but I imagine since they both use magnets, you could just pop them on and off to whichever one you'd really like to. These spikes are actually pretty sharp. I don't think they would really hurt you too bad by any means, but they are pretty sharp. The paint application is, again, just fantastic all the way around. Just given, not just like the design and everything, but even the horns are painted. They have like a texture to them. Like they look incredible on their own. If my camera will focus in, they're so small that it's kind of, camera doesn't like to focus on such small things like that. That's what she said. But they look really, really nice. So there's like a two-tone like fade effect. So it's like darker down here, gets a little lighter as it goes up. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. The teeth look amazing. Like everything about this piece I'm liking so far. On top of which, again, you just have an incredible amount of accessories. Before I forget to this, which I'm sure I'll go over when we're going over some poses towards the end of the video here, but there are wires all throughout this thing, so you can get it, again, just into some much more dynamic poses. All of these things have wires, so you can just flip them about, put them wherever you want. So you can definitely get them into some great poses. And speaking of which, for this one, they did give you a flight pole. So again, for more of those dynamic poses, we'll just keep this, will be the word for the day. So you get this nice hook here with the additional lower back, booty support here to keep them going there, keep them stable. So like all you would do with this, if you're not familiar with them, there's this little cap part pops off, and then you just slide this down on top. You may need to loosen this screw up. Like mine right now can only go to about like right there. Without kind of, it just won't go any further. So you got to get just a very small Phillips screwdriver, and that'll take care of that. You just loosen up a little bit. Be careful because there is a little nut on this side. That's what she said. And then just don't loosen too much and have that fall off, and then lose it, or you'll be kind of SOL till you find another one. Now here is the base, and this is a very large base. As you can see, it's taking up the whole damn screen here. I do have it zoomed in a little bit just to keep everything in frame, but this is a very large piece. If you have the solo one, which I know came out after this, but this one you can still get. It's a pretty expensive for the most part. I was able to find it and use a gift card that I got for Christmas and get it at normal price, essentially. So that's why I have this. But otherwise, like especially the one that comes with a speeder bike like this one, you are looking at a hefty sum of money unless you get lucky like I did. But right here you have your Star Wars metal plaque here. You have this base here which matches what Qui-Gon Jinn's has. So this is like the interior at the end of the movie during that battle is supposed to reflect those that space station like flooring and everything. But one cool thing with this is they actually gave you a second I believe this is a sticker, so you would have to, oh man, the lighting's really harsh on it, so it looks or it's sand. Let me try to get the lighting turned down a little bit. There you go. As you can see, it's a nice sand texture they have here, so you can put this on. You can recreate your Tatooine battle there a little bit easier. So that is cool. I don't think I'm going to use it just because this does match the Qui-Gon one. If I can find a way to just get something to stick it on here without it being permanent, then I may use this for something, but I don't want to lose out on one. So like maybe this unscrews and you can actually remove like a top covering portion to then maybe flip this around and stick it on the other side. If that's the case, then cool. If not, I am just kind of speculating right now. It didn't mention anywhere in the instructions, so don't yell at me to do the instruction thing. It didn't say anything about it in there, so something I'll just have to mess with. With that though, I guess I will say real quick, you get this little peg here. So this would be for your speeder bike, and you just stick it into one of either one, it'll stick in there. And the speeder bike just kind of floats on it'll go up inside the speeder bike and hold it that way. Which, speaking of which, we can go ahead and take a look at the speeder bike here since we just brought it up. Yeah, I kept that loose because it was kind of a pain to get off. So what we have here is the speeder bike, and this thing is amazing. I might have to zoom out just a little bit because this is a little too tight on here. You might see my leg here in the background. Deal with it. So we have the speeder bike here, which I would say in the end is a really nice piece. It does have some weathering here, like up in the front. Let me turn this light. So you can see like right along here, you have some weathering detailing going in there. You have this like leathery kind of material. It's not a material rather, but it's an imprint on the material to make it like look kind of like leathery. But it is just like a plastic, or maybe like a kind of a soft plastic, or almost like a rubber. It's hard to touch, but it kind of has a little bit of a softness to it. But it has a design on it to make it look like some like cushiony leather. Then again, kind of throughout, not super heavy, but you do get like some little weathering spots here and there, and which I really appreciate. I like I don't like things looking like too neat, and I would say this is borderline looking too neat, but it not really. Like it's kind of an in between of like it's been around in the desert a little bit, but it's still a brand new speeder. We'll call it that. There's like a overhead shot. These handlebars do move like up and down this far, and they'll have like the wires there that will move with it, which is very nice. Yeah, but the only other thing really with this is right here, there's like a little notch, kind of hard to see, but there's this little notch right here, and you pull this up, and it pops out here on the side, and then you just have an on and off switch. It takes 2 AAA batteries right here, and you just pop that in, and then all that does, if I'm not mistaken, is just make these back lights glow. So nice little feature to have. Not anything that's like super mind-blowing by any means. Like it doesn't make I don't believe it makes sounds. I believe it just turns that on, but I might be mistaken. I did just unbox this, so there it is. I'm really happy that I was able to get it with this though. I'm a big fan of thrones or chairs or cars, speeders, like that kind of accessory. I really, really appreciate. That's why I like with the Solo Mall. I was pretty happy that it came with that little stool, even though it is just a little stool. I thought it was really cool. But here again is the little peg hole for what you would then stick in there, and then slap it on the base, and then you're good to go. You can just have this posing there with Darth Maul on a peg in front of it with this one, you know, or whatever you like. You can just have this on display if you want. Whatever floats your boat, man. I just love this piece, and I don't even know what it comes with so much stuff here. It's honestly kind of hard for me to even decide what kind of pose I'm going to even put them in. But you'll see a couple poses here at the end of the video anyway, so and then we'll just go over the rest of these accessories and then just get right into those poses and kind of our final thoughts here. So this is the probe droid that it comes with. And this is, again, just one of those kind of things, kind of like a car where it's like, is this 100% necessary for them to have, you know, given you? No, but I'm super happy they did. It's just one other thing that you can put into your collection, you know? So, like, I really like it. I think it's cool. The paint application is really well done. You get a little bit of weathering up here on the front as well. It's not a whole lot of weathering, but it's some little scuff marks there. You can kind of see them. Like, it looks nice. And then the paint app has a real like nice brushed metal look to it. The paint application in here as well. These all look really nice. You even have like some wire right here sticking out there. So that's really good. The silver looks like a nice shiny. It's a very good mix of like a almost a dull gunmetal and then a shiny silver, depending on how the light catches it. And again, down here towards the bottom, you have some more wiring here. I like little things like that. Then you have this little antenna that just slips into the top. It doesn't really seem to lock into place, so it does just kind of float here loose. Not a super big deal though, because the stand that it comes with is just a little clear peg stand or peg post, but it just goes inside of this. And then he sits just upright as it is. So there's really not a huge need for that to be like to really lock into place, because it does just kind of sit like this, just straight up vertical. So granted, I would have liked it to have locked into place a little bit, just so if it were to fall down or you knocked it off the shelf, or who knows what happens, a cat jumps up and knocks it down. You never know, right? If something like that happened and it were to fall, at least you would know that it wouldn't just fly out, because with it how it is now, it might just fly out somewhere, Let's take a look at this robe here. This is very nice as well. I always thought this robe was like super goofy for Darth Maul. Like it looks almost too fancy with all like the pleats and stuff. Like it worked for him in the movie, like it looked good and everything, but I always just thought it was like so fancy looking for someone who's like as aggressive as Darth Maul, you know what I mean? But this might be hard to see here, but in the middle, it does attach via little metal hook, so you can get it to like fully close in front of him if he were to be wearing it. So then you would just lock it back in, then it's there. Or you can undo it and have it kind of flowing open. Not a whole lot to say about this other than it does have a wire in the hood, so you can get that into some decent poses as well. That's pretty much about it with this. I mean, it's very screen accurate. It has the whole pleated thing, like I said. Long sleeves, arms would come out about right here, so you get that whole droopy look that it had in the Tatooine scene. So very happy that it comes. This is another thing. It's like it could have just been Darth Maul and his end period attire there, no robe. Not that Hot Toys would typically do something like that, but just another little thing that I'm glad they have. Same could be said for this. You get the little binoculars from said Tatooine scene. Now this is definitely much more borderline, not as weathered as I would like it to be, given what it is, but it does have some kind of yellow tinginess to it, or some brown tinginess going on that does give it a little bit of a dirty look, as opposed to like metal scrapings. Like there is some of them there throughout to give it like a kind of a dirty look. It is pretty reflective when you have some bright enough lights on it, as you can see. There is like this like rubber grip pattern down back here in the back. This even has the illusion of looking like a real lens when you're looking at it, which is also pretty cool. So very nice touch here. Very nice touch. Kind of the same with this. It has the illusion of nice. You get some gold paint here. This thing is pretty immaculately detailed for what it is, like in all honesty. So pretty cool little thing there. Now, in these little baggies, you have your not D-ring, but your cover tech wheel. This is very hard to focus on. So this is your cover tech wheel, and if you don't know what a cover tech wheel is, one of them is going to be shorter just for like decorative purposes, and the other one's going to be a little bit longer, and it's what would clip into the lightsaber hilt itself. There's a little hole right here, so you stick whichever one you want in there. The longer one, that's what she said, the longer one though will be used if you want to clip it onto the cover tech wheel on the belt. So again, there's going to be two cover tech wheels in that little baggie, one that's a little bit longer. That one you would stick into God, you would put that one into the lightsaber hilt so that you could clip it onto the belt, the cover tech wheel, like so. Okay, that's what you would do. And on my Qui-Gon Jinn, I just have the longer one in there, and I don't even use the smaller one, the decorative one, just because the longer one doesn't really get in the way. So like I never really felt the need to kind of like interchange them. They're such tiny little black pieces. Like you drop that on the floor, like you're more than likely gonna lose it. So I just didn't want to kind of deal with it just getting lost, right? So this little thing, God, so many accessories with this. It's insane. This little thing here is used for, this is another really nice touch, by the way, that they added to this. And I guess since we were talking about the lightsaber hilt, that's why I'm going to go with this. So this is the lightsaber hilt itself, which again, this has a very nice paint application as well. It has a nice glossy kind of shiny finish to it. This thing was, like, in pristine condition when he used it in the movie, so I would expect this to look in pristine condition, just like it is right now. Mine has, like, what looks like a slight bend on it. I don't know if you can even kinda tell. It's hard to see, but, it's not the biggest deal in the world, and it's on the portion that 'cause this is like a hard plastic, not like a bendy plastic, so it's not it would've been something that happened, like, during manufacturing, not something that happened during packaging. Like, not it wasn't being pushed into a weird spot or anything like that. It's just a defect, but just an issue with the mold. I don't know if they're all like this, but this side will pop off anyway. So what you would do is this, which again, as I kind of said off the top, is one of the nice little touches that they added. You want to recreate this scene where he's only doing a single-bladed lightsaber because they cut him in half. That's where this little piece comes into play. You take that, you undo the lightsaber, and then you pop her in here. And now you have a single-bladed lightsaber for Darth Maul. Which again, they did not need to do this. And I think that was a really, really nice touch that they added. Because I mean, the only issue is like who's gonna switch to the single bladed saber? You know what I mean? I'm gonna be rocking the double bladed lightsaber myself. But again, very nice touch that they added this. With that down, the last couple things that we have here. This is the hologram that he comes with. I do find it kind of odd that he comes with his own hologram and not like one of Sidious. But at the same time, like, there it is. He comes with that. I'll probably just have this with the one that came from Solo just sitting like somewhere else on a shelf, like one of my smaller shelves for smaller figures. Probably what I'll end up doing with that. These are the batteries. These are for the lightsaber hilts that are lighted, which are right here in these separate arms. All you need to do is there is a little screw right here. You unscrew that, pop 3 of them in, put it back on. Then you have your on-off switch right here. That will turn on the LEDs, and you're on your way. Same goes for this one. They are identical in that regard, and they, as you can see, the single-bladed lightsaber has the same bottom hilt design as this is, as the little attachment that you put onto the other one. So very accurate, at least to themselves there. Then the boy, and we're still not done with these attachments. Whew. This other little piece of plastic, I forgot to mention, it just has some little belt dots. Those little belt buckle dot things, the buttons that were on here. Those are just a couple extra replacements of those. My Qui-Gon also came with a few of those additionally. So first, before we get into the hands and wrap this up, he has 2 different wrist gauntlets that you can put on, one of which has this this silver metal like bracelet kind of deal. This was on his I think it was on his left hand in the scene on Tatooine with the binoculars. So if you wanted to be critically accurate and use this pose, then you would want to attach this this gauntlet to him. So there's that. Other than that, I'm not really sure. I'd have to look closer on it to what the difference is between the plain one. So I'm not 100%. And these, just from here, I'm looking at it right now. It looks like they're a little shorter, but I mean, that looks pretty much identical. So maybe they just gave you an extra one. Yeah, I'm not really 100% sure why we have 2 of these when the other thing that's odd too is like this one is like you can open it. Okay, sorry, phone rang. Let's go over these hands real quick and wrap this up and get them in some poses. So then you have your fist and wide grip here. This is for the binoculars. This one I think is kind of an odd choice. As you can see here, they filled in the gaps in between his fingers, so it kind of looks like he has webbed fingers. I don't know if they did that just because, I mean, it was like a lazy way of doing it in some way, or if they just thought maybe like you won't notice it and kind of looks like a shadow. If like it doesn't really bother me, I just thought it was an odd choice because like this hand, for instance, has it's almost a closed hand. Like, as far as fingers go, there's barely a little bit of a gap in there, which is realistically just about as much as a gap that this one would have had they not gave him, like, the webbing. So I'm not really sure why they did that. I will probably not be posing him with the binoculars, so it doesn't really bother me. The only other thing to note, though, is that with that, you only get the one fist hand. So that's just it. It kind of seems like it was paired with that one. These ones are I look to be identical for the most part here. They do have like almost looks they have different wrinkles to them, but they're identical really for the most part. The gloves, I mean, they're all nicely like they have a nice texture to them, and you can even see that like they went as far as making like a seam appear like down in there, like the thumbs theme seam, and there's like a little kind of a grippy texture to them on the bottom, which I do appreciate because I mean they even have like the seams looking like it might be hard to see because this is all black, but there's like a seam going around the fingers. Like they definitely went the extra mile to give the illusion of being gloves as opposed to just a black painted hand. Like they put a ton of like wrinkles on it, again with the thumb seam here going all the way around finger seam. So they did a really good job with that. I really, really like how they did that. Again, this one kinda has the single sculpt webbing along to it, but this is one of your lightsaber hands. Like, granted, with this one, it's nowhere near as noticeable. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much all that. Then you have a couple extra ball joints right here that you can keep in hands or just in case the other ones break. Lastly, you have your two straight lightsaber hilts here, or lightsaber, dude, long day. Lightsabers there, the red blades for the lightsabers. Then you have your two motion effect blades here. So there we go with that. You pop those in, gives it the illusion that the blade is in motion. So, guys, let's get them in to some poses here and then kind of wrap up, give our final thoughts on this piece. Because, man, oh man, I am very, very, very happy to finally have this. I waited. I mean, I wanted this when it first came out. I held it in my hand and decided to pass on it. And every day since, and you'll hear this story again once I get it was this one and then this other one. I'll keep a surprise for now that I both held this one and this other hot toy in my hand and then decided I don't want to get it. And then every day since, I've thought about that hot toy. It was always these were the ones that got away, but not anymore. Damn it! Like I got this one and I got the other one on its way now. So I'm very excited for that. But let's get minutes of poses and wrap this thing up, guys. All right, guys. So we have made it here to the end. Let's go ahead and break this down. Give our final thoughts as some poses here go through on the bigger part of the screen here. The other part, the smaller parts, are the real money shots, though. Just kidding. It's obviously right here. This guy here. That's why you're all here. So let's get in here. Here he is, just standing here. Nope, no crazy poses yet, all right? We'll get to that in a minute. But as you can see, it's a very amazing looking figure. The one thing I did forget to mention is you can see a little bit of my cat's hair already found its way on there, even though it was only in my house for like, I don't know, just less than 12 hours, I think, because then it came out into the studio. Yeah, hair gets everywhere, man. But anyway, the one thing I did forget to mention was the boots. I think I forgot to bring those up when I was doing the unboxing process. And the boots are like immaculate. They are a fantastic sculpt. You do not get like a toe joint or anything like that. So you just have a ankle swivel, but it does work out pretty well. You can still move it pretty decently. It's kind of like detached at the bottom. As you can see, it's kind of like its own separate thing, but you do not have a joint here on your toes. Here we go, standing next to Qui-Gon himself. As you can see, Qui-Gon, if you caught that other review of the Qui-Gon figure, he's a pretty beefy boy. He was almost as big as the Prestige Batman. But I don't know, my favorite thing about this Darth Maul, I mean, it's just everything, in all honesty. But I mean, the boots, again, they look incredible. He looks great standing next to Qui-Gon. Wondering if they're ever going to make a Phantom Menace Obi-Wan, because they made like the what was it, the Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan, and they have the Clone Wars one coming out, but they never made the one with the Padawan braid. They gave you the Darth Maul with a cut up, cut in half lightsaber here, but you don't have the Obi-Wan to go with it. What's up with that? Maybe it's coming. Here you go, and this is one example. This was the first pose I put him in. It was real simple to get him in here. As you can see with the mid-drift section, his little skirt area, wires everywhere, super easy to get it into, any kind of position you want to make it a nice, really believable action pose. But everything about this figure and the way it just comes together is amazing. You see there, I even went as far as moving his eyes over a little bit. I think this is even reminiscent to one of the promotional photos that Sideshow had released for this figure, if I'm remembering correctly. I may have subconsciously just done that. This was just the first thing I thought of doing. Maybe it was that. The lightsaber, as you can see, looks amazing. I went with the motion blade here just for the little extra aesthetic here, but that head sculpt, dude, and the eyes, it's just incredible. I love this piece. Here we go. Of course, I couldn't just straight up pose him with our man Qui-Gon. I had to give him a little action shot with him. So there he is on the flight pole and everything. This thing is super sturdy. I am still kind of in a very similar pose to that right now, just with the non-motion blade. This thing is super sturdy. I mean, there's no give on this thing. So they did a really great job with the action hole for the pose there. It's incredible. My only complaint too, actually, was well, I'll get into it in a little bit, but the little like clear peg that goes into the speeder, it doesn't like screw into this base or anything. It just sits there, and it kind of sits there like haphazardly, like it just kind of like rocks. It just wedges itself in, doesn't go down all the way. If you push it too far in, it feels like it's gonna break. Kind of odd with that one. I do have another thing I need to cover with the speeder bike, but we'll get to that because I do have a shot of it going around here on the turntable as well. Of course, sorry they were really close to each other on that pose with him and Qui-Gon, but I have a pretty big turntable, but it wasn't really big enough to get them at a far enough distance to make it look like it would have really looked. So I wanted to get them both in a shot together, kind of the best I could do with that little turntable there. But here we go. I couldn't not do the classic intro pose for Darth Maul, and it looks great doing that. I did leave, like, don't call me out. I know I didn't change the right hand to a different hand on Maul. It's his other saber hand. I know, and then same with Qui-Gon. I know. I had a mishap, and I just got tired of doing poses. In this shot too, you can actually see that bend in my the lightsaber that I covered before. I might contact Sideshow. Let me know, guys. Have you ever had a defect with a piece like that, and had any luck getting with Sideshow to see if they would like send you a new one? Because that's not, it's like I said, it's not a soft plastic to where it's just like, gravity's like warp it or anything. It's a hard plastic, so it's like a defect in the sculpt itself. So let me know if you guys have ever had any issues like that, and if they would, if you had any luck with them sending you a new one, just so that process is, because I have never had to go through it before. But again, the lightsaber, other than the little bend that I have in it, which is arguably unnoticeable depending on how I have it posed, and some, like when I had him laying it flat, you could totally see it. Like it just stands out like a sore thumb. When you have it, in the bag, you don't really notice it. That's really my only complaint with this figure, is that I got that kind of defect with it. Anything else about the overall like design of this figure? Zero complaints. This is a grail piece to me for sure. I just hope that the next one I get, the other one that I've talked about and teased a little bit that I have upcoming, I hope I have the same feeling about that one when I get it. Because like I said, I held this in my hand, passed on it. I held this other one in my hand, passed on it, and I haven't stopped thinking about them ever since. I finally got this one. It's going to make a great addition. And again, I did tease the solo Darth Maul hot toy review, so I will be doing that, and I'll do a comparison video with both of them, or I'll at least just have him posing with this Maul. So since I already did this one, I'll just have the other one in there for that. But I have a couple other ones. I got another one that I haven't announced yet. Then I have the one that my other potential grail piece coming. Now, the one thing I wanted to mention again with this was, here's that peg I was talking about. It doesn't wedge in there at all. But I did put batteries in here. So it does light up there in the back, as you can see. But the one thing I did not know, this might be kind of hard to get, it lights up the front panel here too. So I was not sure about that. So there you go. So it lights up that part in addition to the back part. Still nothing amazing, nothing like mind blowing with the thing, but I really appreciate little features like that personally. They didn't have to go through the extra effort of wiring all that, but they did, and it's a nice touch. So guys, other than that though, that pretty much covers it. I absolutely love this piece, like 100%. I am super thrilled to have it. It's currently like probably I haven't gotten all the ones that I have on order, so it's kind of hard to say, but it's hard to say this isn't my favorite as it stands right now. Everything about it is incredible. Like I said, the boots, the outfit, the mobility, the base, the accessories that he came with, like mind-blowing amounts. Like it is an incredible figure. If you have a chance to get this at a reasonable price and you're even the smallest fan of Darth Maul, you don't even have to be a big fan of Darth Maul. I personally love Darth Maul. He's one of the coolest looking characters in Star Wars, hands down. But if you have any ties to Darth Maul in any way, and you can get this for a reasonable price, do it. I'm not just do it. Don't spend like $1,000 on it. I don't think any of them are worth paying that much more than retail price, in my opinion, unless it's the one you're missing to complete the Star Wars collection. You already got them all, or money's not an issue, then you by all means go for it. But guys, I'm going to wrap it up right here because I know because of all the accessories this thing had, this one went on for a little bit longer than I expected. Don't forget, every Monday we have Honest and Uneducated, the podcast where we talk about movie news, video games, comic books, just all sorts of fun stuff like that. You can submit topics and questions to the show by emailing us at honestanduneducated@gmail.com. That's honestanduneducated@gmail.com. Then every Friday, sometimes Saturday and Sunday, but every Friday we do, live stream. We talk hot toys. If I get a new hot toy in, I'll do like a figure preview of it, stuff like that. Then play some video games, just chill with the boys kind of thing. But so yeah, just do all that stuff. Like the video, subscribe. Let me know what Grail piece that you have that was the one that got away, and then you finally got it. Kind of like this Darth Maul is for me. So let me know which one, and then also actually let me know what hot toys or anything you have on pre-order that you have coming your way, because I have one that I'm just finishing up a pre-order, like my final pre-order payment thing. I did the payment plan because it wasn't going to be out yet for a while, so I'll have that coming too. I got a couple coming. So stay tuned for some more reviews every Wednesday, hopefully, as long as I can get them all done by then. So next week I'll probably have, I don't know which one yet. I don't know which one. It'll be a surprise. But guys, again, like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I am Sir Rob Bifo, and until next time, take care.